Hello, everyone, once again. This is Goran. I'm here in Zagreb with Marian.
Good morning, everyone.
Welcome to the last session, to the last webinar from the launch session. Before we continue, I would like to ask you just for a short confirmation that everybody is hearing us so that we don't have any technical issues at the moment. Just type something in the question section. Okay, we're continuing or starting with the webinar. We had a first webinar on a week ago with the general topics about the content, about the Connect. Last Thursday, there was a shorter webinar with some industry-specific solutions, how to drive extra volumes to print providers, how to implement CRD solutions by using Connect, personalization, some business process optimization by using mobile platform that was specifically for working orders. We talked about an idea for insurance companies, and today we have another set of interesting things like demo for account receivables or invoices, banking industry, some idea about document handling platform. Again, proof of delivery. Hopefully we'll have some time, and at the end I'd like to present some of the tools which I think will be useful for you, which you can use on your own, and we'll have a Q&A session in the end. Although I would like to ask you to ask questions at any time if you have, because we have 4 separate topics for the day. We'll start right away with a first demo, which is account receivable process. The problems that we find in the account receivable is that there's a lot of manual labor, a lot of paper-based processes, a lot of printouts, a lot of folding, enveloping, and these kind of things, which are causing a lot of time inefficiency with the customers. Also, some rigid systems don't have the possibility to change the layout or the information coming in from the invoices. More and more people or companies, customers are asking for electronic delivery, which some of the systems can provide, some of them can, but in a bad manner, some of them can't do it at all. And the cost is definitely one of the issues which is rising from this process. I have some information what is the cost of each invoice, but they're all coming from Western countries, so that's crazy cost, which I think in our region is quite lower. How do we see this in OL? Is pretty simple. We take the information from ERP or any other system, billing system, or whichever system is providing information, and instead of going to the print right away, it goes to OL Connect, which then takes over the file, takes over handling the file, what needs to be done with it, how and where it needs to be sent. So at the same time, Connect is responsible for sending the invoice at several locations, printout, EDI networks, data interchange networks, storing the documents in the archive systems, or sending it via email or web to the customers. Let me show you how this looks actually in the demo, where we see the application of our software. Basically, it's emulated system, ERP system or line of business system, where users are used to print the invoices, where they're used to do all the transactional work. But instead of just sending it to the print, the file will be sent to Connect. On the other hand, the user will have no change whatsoever. So they are still in the old line of business system, doing business as usual, printing the file. As soon as they hit the print button, the file actually is being sent to the Connect, where you can see that some of the things are still being processed, that are in the process. So we have the information that these 3 invoices are sent via email information, and 3 of them are queued for the print channel. So the print operator has the information about these invoices being stacked in the queue, so he knows how to print it, what to print, where to print envelope, etc., etc. Some other options which the system has, this demo has, is sending the SMS notification and sending the data to EDI network. It's a cluster for changing the electronic data between the customers. Basically, what happens is that each customer is being notified via email. That's the process, which is set for the workflow. Well, Rond, not sure how to pronounce the first name. Hello, this is the invoice with some information, general information about the invoice. This is something which is customizable, so it suits any need of the customer. What is next really interesting thing is that the customer itself has the privilege to go to the website. He can actually log in with his own credentials, and he can see the entire information about the invoice, about the items, about the totals, or he can even download the PDF, which is generated by the file. So we have the invoice with the same information in different form being present here. Also, the end user, the customer, the buyer, has privilege to update the communication information, how he wants to communicate with the company. So if he wants to print printed invoices, or he wants them on email or any kind of information. Once we go back to, I need to log in again as a line of business user. What we see here is that this invoice has already been viewed by the client. So we know that he received, when did he receive, we have the information that he's aware about it. We have sent several other invoices, but they're not being still checked by the customer. But if we go to the invoice itself, now this part of the system is seen as a part of the system used by people who are actually collecting the payable receivables. So they're calling their clients and trying to collect the money. What they can do is put some note. We can add a note, or what is, again, they can see all the documents for this particular case. But what is more important or interesting here, we have set up 3 different levels of reminders. So we see that these data are fictional data, just to show you some of the features of the system. We have 56 days overdue invoice, so we want to send a reminder. Once we click the reminder, it automatically finds out if this is the first level reminder, second level, or third level reminder, which are defined within the system itself. So the reminder is being sent via email, and it's standard information, standard email, which is being personalized for this particular case. So all the information, invoice number, who is responsible, company, and these kind of things are being personalized and then communicated outside to the client itself. On the third part of the system is the print queue, what is also interesting part, where all the invoices are being collected. So that would be a different kind of user. I'm only using LOB user here just because demo purposes. Otherwise, it would be several other users. And we can see all the batches which we want to print or which we need to print. So the print operator can actually collect this data, can decide when it's going to be printed, where it's going to be printed, which machine to use, which enveloping machines, etc., etc. Also, you can see here that there are several documents. So some of them have some attachments inside, not only invoice, but also some of the other information which are being sent with the invoice itself. This is a batch job now, so the print operator has several documents. First document with the delivery notes, second invoice, third invoice, etc., etc. So the print operator can actually decide how to group, how to sort all these documents because it's being printed in batches, not only separate documents for each and every invoice. So basically, these are several parts of the invoice AR solution created by Oil Connect. What you see here is a demo. It reflects somewhere AR process, but main purpose is to show the possibilities. So I don't see much of a point to have receivables or somebody collecting the debts using this system, or that it can mark this invoice as paid. Usually this information will be stored in ERP or financial system, and it will be simply transferred here. What you see here is a mixture of WordPress technology in the surrounding, and the main part is being created by Oil Connect. So this is just a way to show you what can be done with Connect within the AR process. What we find interesting here is that PSPs who are offering this service of printing the invoices have found this idea quite interesting, and they're thinking about expanding their service for providing some electronic documents and this kind of things as well for their current clients, which they have for print-only jobs. So that would be it regarding the AR process, AR demo. Let me just go to the next slide. There are several benefits regarding the AR process, account receivable, that's reducing or eliminating manual processes, enveloping, handling paper, transferring, and these kind of things. It improves definitely the cash flow because the information is flowing much faster. We can see when anybody opened the invoice and this kind of information. We have standardized procedures for sending reminders, and we have the improved overall customer experience, since we're gonna not just use the channels we have, but we're actually gonna use what they want us to use and have the information in a way they would like to. So we're offering some more possibilities to them. I'm gonna move on to the next example, but if you have any kind of questions regarding this process, the AR process, feel free to ask them, and we'll get back to them as soon as possible. The next showcase or the demo I wanted to show you, it's regarding the banking systems, the issues which we saw greatly in the banks. There are several issues over there. One of them is huge cost of the postal services. I have one information. This information is coming from Croatia. I was talking with one smaller bank here in Croatia, where they confirmed that they calculated that their cost, not only for postal services, but overall for designing, printing, enveloping, and sending one mail piece, costs around 7 kunas, which is slightly less than €1 with the current exchange right now, with the postal services being somewhere around 80 or 85% of the cost for that particular thing. One other issue is that, at least in Croatia, there's a lot of and quite frequent legal requirements which are changing all the time, which banks need to apply very, very fast. If they don't do so, they have possibility to pay huge fines to the authorities. I was talking to one other bank, one huge bank in Croatia, where they told me that they have a lot of these kind of restrictions. So not necessarily that they're going to get fined every time when they miss a deadline or something like that, but they have a huge possibility that somebody from the end customer, their customers, is going to raise an issue, and if they do that with the authority, then they will get the fine. And the fines for the banking industry are quite significant, so that's one of the cost issues which they don't want to pay. The next issue is the amount of data which banks have. GDPR and the recent changes made slight changes with that, because they're not storing all possible data anymore. They're storing only what's necessary. At least that's what they told me. But still, their amount of data is huge. I have the information that the third bank in Croatia, although it is rather old information, are using 13 master data databases for their customers. So now you imagine if you want to change the address in all 13 of them, how much effort that's going to take. So what is the solution? One platform, multiple channels, and automated processes is something what we see as quite beneficial for banking industry. There are two things which I want to address here. First one is cost saving. That's really easy to calculate the return on investment. We're focusing on postal services because they're making a huge percentage of the cost. There are two things how to do that. The first, I think I mentioned that in the first webinar. The first one would be digital delivery. There is literally no need for, I'm talking about myself right now. So whenever I'm dealing with a bank, I would always prefer to get digital information via email, by any kind of digital channel, instead of having any printouts at all. But that's just me. If I take a look at my father, for example, who's retired for quite some time right now, that's a totally different story. He needs to have the printouts still. But when you take a look at the numbers the number of users which banks have, by just changing 10% or 15% of these printouts to the digital channel, and with a cost of €1 per one mail piece, that's making a lot of cost saving for them. Another option for the same thing would be sorting and grouping and batching, actually. Putting similar documents or same recipient for different documents within the same envelope, and then saving on postal services. A third idea would be sorting and doing the part of the postal services for the post, so it actually grants you some kind of discounts for their services. That would be one idea for the banks. The other idea would be to automate the document delivery for their end users. I have an example here, quite simple one, for banking statements. So let me just show you what we did for that. So what you see here is a website which is actually developed by Connect. The idea would be to use bank's system, whatever technology it is. So I just log in. So once I log in, what is going to happen is that we actually simulated that I asked for my bank statement. my monthly bank statement. So it's being sent to my email address, to my information which I entered in the system itself. So let me just find the document. Still didn't receive it. So it takes some time to get the document itself. I am going to show you the one that we did before the demo itself, when I was showing this to Marian. So it's from 9:30 this morning. It's saying what is the opening balance, what is the closing balance, total expenses, total income, with some relevant information. What is quite interesting, that they can see the same information, but in different form, in the print form or PDF form. It's showing exactly the same information. It's showing account numbers and this other things, but it's showing more detailed information about the monthly transfers that were done on the account, what was paid, what was the income, etc. As you can see, there's different layout, different design used for the print channel, because it's totally unnecessary to have the Twitter or Facebook or LinkedIn information on the printed document itself. What is quite interesting, that we have a third channel. So if Marian, or in this case Marian, logs into their system, he can actually see all this information within the third channel, which is HTML channel, where we have some different options, where we have some filters which we can use, where we have some possibilities to upsell or cross-sell. So there's an insurance that is being offered by the bank. So if we want to do the quote, we fill in some information, we submit the information. What is going to happen is that we get the offer based on our information, which we entered within the system. So it's being personalized. Again, it's being communicated to the end customer. It also has features to notify the insurance salesperson that Marian asked for this information, so he knows that there's some kind of interest going on from Marian's side. So it would be interesting for them to contact him or find the information itself. So basically, it's really simple demo, which is showing you how to create banking statements, automate these kind of procedures, because the banks are required to send this all information, but they don't have, at least I'm talking for Croatia right now, they don't have specification how they need to notify the client. It can be notified by any channel possible, by the printed and sent information via snail mail, using EDI, email, or web systems, sending to archives, sending to tablets or web systems. It can be shared in any other possible way. That would be really fast regarding banking industry. I'm going to move on to document handling platform, which is another demo. And it's not a demo, it's an idea. I just wanted to share some thoughts about it. If there are any questions regarding banking, feel free to pose them and we'll get back to them. Regarding document handling platform, the problems are that we have some old IT system, rigid system. It's quite hard to change the information on the printouts. We have error-prone processes, complex integrations, which require a lot of time, a lot of IT experts. We have slow information flow if it's not integrated. We have a lot of examples where the data is being created by the IT system, printed, and then scanned, sent to OCR, so it could be transferred into another, usually document management system or some other kind of systems. So all these or some of these issues can be handled by OL Connect. There are actually two ways, 2 points we're focusing here. The first one would be document flow. So it basically takes care, which document is going to be sent to which channel or printed to which printer. I'm sure that you're all dealing with MFPs, so I'm quite sure that you've done some optimizations in the field. So you have cases like mother company having SAP or NAV somewhere globally implemented, and there's a local office using this ERP, and using local printers. So you have a lot of time trying to set up which user is printing on which printer, how to get this information from the ERP to the specific printer. So it needs to be safe, secure. It cannot be seen by the others, etc., etc. So it takes a lot of time to set up these kind of things, or it can be transferred to Connect, which has all these possibilities integrated, and you just specify what are the rules for the printouts. So it's being sent to the exact printers, so much easier. So one focus would be the document flow. Which printer needs to print it, where it needs to go, which channel needs to be used for which customer, and these kind of things, which is something we already discussed and showed earlier before. But the other focus of this would be the content of the document itself. So if we have rigid systems, if we have which have a lot of issues trying to edit the document, add some kind of forms to the document, the answer would be OL Connect. I have an example here on the left side. You can see the invoice, which is obviously being created by some older system. It's black and white document with really nice transactional data, but it's being outdated and it's usually printed by some old systems. On the right side is the same document with the same information, but just being redesigned with the OL Connect. This particular case is for the invoice, but it can be used for delivery notes, packing list, pick list, loading documents, any kind of internal or outgoing document which later on needs to be signed or scanned or transferred to any different kind of system. On the top right side, you can see adding barcodes and scan marks, which are quite useful for scanning later on. So basically, here it's used the barcode, but you can also use QR code. So you can enter all the metadata necessary for scanning later on in the document. So once you scan it, you just need to read the data from QR code, which is usually 100% accurate, instead of reading the whole document and trying to recognize the data from the document itself. You can add OMR marks for enveloping machines or some other machines, graphic elements which are quite hard to add from old system, dynamic calculations. Was one of the examples for the invoices which I saw would be to add, for your case, could be that you see that you have a client who's overusing the MFP, which is under your supervision. So it's printing, let's say, 10,000 pages on a machine which is used for 1,000 pages per month. So you can set up the system to have discovering these kind of issues at the beginning and just add some kind of note. Please, we noticed like 3 months in a row you've been overusing your MFP. It could be cheaper if you get a bigger MFP, or you could do better. Please contact your salesperson and get some kind of response from the client himself. Some other possibilities would be adding barcodes and QR codes for logistic companies, so they can scan the data on the pallets, on the warehouses from quite a distance by using barcode scanners, and they can actually see what is on the pallet, on the shelf and this kind of information, which is we actually have DHL in Italy using Connect to do these kind of things. They get the document from the client, edit the document in a way to add barcodes and QR codes, which later on they use in their own processes. The last part for document handling and content handling would be having the documents sent to a different channel. So basically, no need to print it, but it can be sent to document management in the first place. No need to scan them, and these kind of things. So that would be regarding the document handling platform. We already took half hour, so I'm gonna skip this for a minute. Proof of delivery process. I'm gonna show it to you, but I just like to show you the tools which we have prepared for our partners, which is something you can actually use yourself. You need to register on some of them, but there shouldn't be any issues with you registering. And this is something which can actually help you a lot with Connect. It's suitable for all partners. There are 4 systems I'd like to show you. The first one is Demo Site. So basically, it has several demos already ready. So the account receivable demo, which I just showed you, if you click here, it's going to start. If you don't know how to do the demo, it has a video which is going to prepare you for delivering the demo. So it's quite useful, actually. You need to set up some of the information. You need to register and get the credentials for the system, etc., etc. But it's quite cool that you can deliver these demos yourself. Proof of delivery, which I'm going to show you later on, it's here. Working orders, ad hoc, mail consolidation, which we showed on the first demo, banking, which we showed today, insurance quote generator. So most of the demos are here, and you can use them on your own. So that's one system which is available for you. The next one would be help site. So basically, we are quite open on the outside. So we have on the left side, you can see all our products, which are quite few, which you can sell. You have user guide, you have print definition files, you have some plugins, and you have samples and templates for each and every system, which you can use for demo purposes, for whatever you need. The whole user guides are here, available in HTML, so you can search them, find information, etc., etc., or you can simply download it, the PDF version, and you'll find all the information inside. It's being maintained all the time, so it should be quite up to date. Next system I'd like to show you is e-learning site. So it's basically a lot of video materials which you can see, which you can check, which you can find on the website. You need to register here. Actually, you can see the videos itself, but if you register, then it's tracking what you saw, what you didn't see, what would be cool for you to see next, where did you stop, and these kind of things. So for every product, you can actually see quick overviews, designer videos, connect, send, output, walkthrough samples. So there's a how-to section, which is quite useful. I'm using that myself from time to time, where you can, if you have some kind of question, you can just type it in. Today I had a question about IPDS, so I can just try to see how is IPDS handled by the system and these kind of things. And there's a third part here, which is something forum-like, where people are asking questions and our experts are giving answers and answering these information in timely manner. At least they're trying to do it in timely manner. And the last one I'd like to show you is basically Partner Portal. It contains a lot of sales and marketing information, brochures, case studies, data sheets, graphics, presentations, etc., etc. One really cool document which I would recommend definitely is the sales guide. Sales guide, which is quite extensive, 60 pages of PDF, but a lot of information inside, so you don't need to read it. But when you have something, when you go to a specific industry, you can find the information here. You can register here. If you do so by clicking register, and then your account manager will be notified, so it will let you in a day. If you register, then you get pretty much the same thing, but you just get the software installers and reseller licenses as an option as well. So every partner can get not for resale license or demo license, which is 1 year valid internally for testing or demo purposes. So it's not a problem. You can get it anytime you need. Basically, those are 4 systems I wanted to show you. I wanted to notify you about. You can use them right away, most of them. For some of them, you need to register, but as I said, it's a formality. You will be registered any time you ask for a registration. We're finished for today. I would like to show the proof of delivery still. So if some of you still have time, stick around for 5 more minutes and we'll show you another demo, proof of delivery, which I think is really nice again. Did we answer the question? Yeah. Okay, there were some questions, but I think we answered them already. If there are some other questions, feel free to ask right now. For those who have to go, thank you very much for joining us, for being with us. I hope it was interesting for you. We will be sending out the materials and recordings and this kind of things, so you will receive all this information. However, we will ask you for some assistance from your side to tell us how did you feel about all this. So there's going to be one short survey as well. So I would like to ask you to fill that out as well. That's about it, Marian. So for those of you who decided to stay, we'll just show one other demo. That's proof of delivery, which basically has several issues. One of them that the process is manual. Papers get lost. Even if they don't get lost, they are very, very slow. So if you have a delivery guy who's delivering, let's say, pizza on a scooter, and the customer needs to sign off on the document, you cannot invoice it, you cannot do anything with it until the paper gets back in the central, in the HQ or in the office. So once it gets back, there's some delay with that, but then it needs to be processed. So it's an analog document, it needs some changes, it needs some administration on it, so it's taking a lot of time. And that's the biggest issue. So what is the solution? The solution would be to digitize this information, to have it in a digital way, so the information would flow much faster, and the invoices could be actually sent in a timely manner. I do have knowledge of one example. It was from Hungary, where the client was a third-party logistic company. They were a delivery company doing the delivery as a service for their clients. The problem was that this process took 2 weeks from delivery note, once it's being signed by the customer, once the customer signs off, till the point when it's actually being invoiced. This process took for 2 weeks. If they have their own customer who are, let's say, on a 2-week invoicing time, to 2 weeks payment term, so that would mean that the first possible option that they're gonna get paid for the service they delivered would be within the month. In our region, I guess it's similar in other countries as in Croatia. Once you get this 1 month, then you need to have some more overdue time to get paid. So it's causing a lot of cash flow issues for the customers itself. So how do we see this solution? Is that, again, whole system, everything what is being done today stays the same. We're using the same ERP solutions. We're using same line of business solution, logistics solutions. The operators are doing exactly the same thing, but the change is that the next step is Oil Connect, who is taking over the document. So once the document is received by Connect, it's being transferred to the mobile platform, to the driver who's using mobile solution, who then goes with a tablet to the customer. He signs the information on the tablet, which is immediately being sent to the ERP, to the ECM, to the customer itself as a PDF attachment within the email. It automatically can produce invoices or proof of delivery documents, or merge these documents within existing system for themselves. Let me show you the idea how we found this working. So we have the line of business system with some of the invoices being created within the system itself. So once we hit the print button, it's triggering some kind of workflow in the end. So all these documents are being transferred right now to the Connect server. And what you hear is my mobile phone. So basically, an SMS is being sent to the customers that the shipment has started, that they can expect their delivery. Also, what happened is that the customer is being notified by email. So we see that invoice number Sharona has this invoice number, and it's being prepared for the shipment. So if they want to track, they can just click a link in the email and see that it's being prepared and now it's on its way. What does it mean that it's on its way? It means that you remember the COTG, that's the mobile platform. So basically I'm showing you the tablet solution right now. The driver has 3 delivery nodes specified for his delivery for today, let's say. So the first one, if I remember correctly, was 549, the first one. So it's Sharona Delaney with the information which needs to be delivered. So we have this information, and what is unfortunate that the boots actually item is missing from the shipment. Please send the item again. We can take the picture, or we can get some picture from the system itself. We can add more picture proofs. We specify here that this delivery note needs some kind of attention. So there is one item missing. Need to send it again. So we have all this information inside. What is also how much time we spend there, the delivery guy, the customer signature. So again, it can be signed. On the tablet itself, one other interesting thing, it automatically collects the geolocation, so GPS coordinates for the delivery guy. So once he submits the information, it's being transferred to Connect again, to Connect server. We see that it's green now. So what is going to happen right now is on the dashboard, we're going to have the information that 2 of them are in the transit. These are from the morning. We have the information that the delivery note needs some kind of attention. We can see what is the status page, so we can see what the customer sees on his dashboard. We can see the document itself. But what is quite important, we can see what is going on and where is the issue, so we can act on these issues right away. We don't need to wait until the driver comes back, so we can handle these these issues ourselves. We have the dashboard for the logistic employees trying to, not trying, but being able to see what is going on. So it's delivered, these are still in the process, these one needs attention itself. So it's making these information quite visible for everyone. And what is important, as I told you, this information can right away be delivered to logistic line of business system. So it raises an issue and the person in the warehouse knows that this item needs to be packed and prepared for another shipment, which can be later on through the day or next day. But either way, much faster than with 1 day delivery until we wait for the document to come back. So basically, yeah, what it didn't show you is that throughout the process, the confirmations are arriving, as you heard on my SMS on mobile, but also through email with the information, with the image proof, with the signature, with the customer location and everything, which we set up in the form itself. So the customer is always up to date of what is going on. So I found this demo quite interesting. I hope you found it as well. That would be it regarding the proof of delivery demo, which we wanted to show you for today. So once again, if there are any kind of questions, feel free to ask them right now. If not, thank you for joining us. Thank you for staying with us for 15 minutes over the planned time. I hope it was well spent. As I mentioned, we'll be sending out the materials and the survey. So I'd like to ask you once again to fill out this survey just to show us if we did okay or what we need to change in the next endeavors that we do similar to this one. And that would be it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Goodbye all.
Bye.